The way I justified it to myself, this is going to sound really stupid, but every penny that Jerry Jones, in effect, eventually pays me is a penny he can't spend on the Cowboys.
You're taking away from their roster.
Yeah.
That's what.
All hundreds of dollars I'm being paid, they can't give to the Cowboys that are making tens of millions. It helps.
You made the Cowboys worse for at least a few years.
Ish.
All right, hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for possibly the first rendition of what we'll be calling the Valley Cast for now. There's probably like 500 names that we could come with. Yeah,
really?
That's the best I could come up with off the top of my head. So we're gonna go with that for right now. But there's certainly a better name later. I am joined here by Kyle. You're the owner of Wagner Wealth Management.
Yeah,
correct?
My father and I own it. Yes.
Yeah. So. Certainly some good stuff there, and also what mainly we're more here for is obviously you're an LVC graduate and a big part of the World of Warcraft scene. So
yeah, I play games.
Do you want to start by kind of talking about your time at LVC and kind of how you got to where you are?
Yeah. So when I started at Lebanon Valley College, it was a couple of years before you had an esports program.
Yes, yeah.
My freshman year, I lived in Funkhauser, third floor, and there were a group of like 6 of us in 3 rooms on our floor that played COD together almost every night.
Yeah.
And Can I say shit?
Yeah.
Okay. The internet was so shit that what would happen is it was too much going through at one time from a small area, so the network was built to throttle it. Oh. So we'd all go down to, like, instead of having like a reasonable ping, like a 30 or 50 ms ping, we'd all spike to like a 600 or 1,000 ping. Oh. And like games just become unplayable like that. And it's all 6 of us all at the same time. It's not like it's only one system or it's only one room or it's only 2.
It's like the whole floor.
All of us. So we had to come down to the IT help desk area and say, hi, can you like not throttle us?
Yeah.
And it took several weeks of asking until we annoyed them enough that they just did it to shut us up.
That's a lot of power right there.
No, that's called being very annoying.
Especially as freshmen, too.
Yeah. Well, you have 6 people cycling through.
Yeah, eventually they'll get used to it.
So we wore them down, and eventually they reconfigured the network for our floor so they'd stop throttling us, and we just got to play COD all the time. It was great.
Every day.
But that's where, like, when I was here, God, I sound so old. I graduated in 2014. I'm not that old.
I was like 2 years before we had esports.
When I was here, we were so far removed from having esports that you could barely play COD in the dorm rooms.
Yeah.
And so to see you guys having an esports program now that's actually like fully functioning and fully kitted out and winning tournaments and championships and stuff is just fantastic. I love it. As far as like my gaming history, while I was on campus, I played a ton of COD with my roommates and the other dorm mates on the floor. Played a lot of World of Warcraft. Still play a lot of World of Warcraft. Yeah. Still play way more World of Warcraft than anyone should. And just kind of never stopped playing video games. Yeah. Everyone always 10 years ago, everyone always said, once you're out of college, you have to be an adult. You can't play video games anymore. Yeah. Nothing can ever come of this. But as you know, the entire industry has popped
It's a job
around
now.
this.
It's like 1,000 jobs now.
Yeah. Tens of thousands of people work in esports. It's $1 billion industry now.
Yeah.
So there's real careers to be had, and not just as a player, but as a broadcaster, as a production crew, as just content creation in general, as a video editor, business manager, advertising, sales, and stuff like that. Entire industries, and you can get into esports now doing just about any role that you can think of. So getting to watch that progress while also watching LVC get an esports program up and off the ground and moving forward has been really neat to see from my point of view, coming from the days when people would tell you need to go outside and go touch grass instead of play video games.
Yeah, so kind of expanding on that part, like the video games part, obviously you're pretty well known, I'd say, in the most small way possible
That's weird.
for World of Warcraft. So how did
Yeah.
you get your start in that? I know we've had this conversation before, but how did that come about?
Dumb luck.
Dumb luck?
Absolutely dumb luck. I've been playing WoW since 2005. Yeah,
I was like 3.
yeah. I've been a nerd for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I've played at various levels, but I've never been like a world-class player. I'm just
A player.
not that good.
Yeah.
If you know World of Warcraft, you'll know what this means. I'm a cutting-edge raider, so I'm in like the top 1% of players, so I'm like okay. But I'm not like a world-class player. I'm not winning any competitions or anything like that. And for a while, a number of years ago, I was leading my team. It's the type of content I like to do is called a raid. It's 20-man content just against bosses, and we like to do it on the hardest difficulty that the game offers.
Yeah.
So I was leader for my team, and what I did for one raid content that came out was I put together a guide on a Google Doc. And I put a whole bunch of stuff together, and I gathered a ton of resources from all of these different videos and all of these top groups that had killed it, like World First, World Fifth, whatever, all the top groups in the world. And I kind of condensed it into a Google Doc for my own team and said, hey, here, read this. This is what I like from all these different teams, and this is what we're going to do. And everybody on my team really liked it. So 6 months, a year later when the next raid area came out, because that was Antorus, which was at the end of Legion, and that was 3 expansions. That's 6
Really
years
got to
ago.
think about that.
Oh my god, that's 6
6
years ago.
years ago. If
Sorry,
you really
I'm
wanted to
feeling
know,
old.
I was a sophomore in high school at that time.
Dear God, that's a long time ago. So, the next raid that came out, I decided to do the same thing, and I put so much work into that one. It was for an area called Uldir. It was the first raid of Battle for Azeroth. That I decided to post it to a few community discords and Reddit.
Yeah, just kind
I
of
posted
spread it
it
around.
to r/WoW and r/competitive WoW. And then I started getting very angry messages.
Very angry ones.
Yeah, because on Google Docs, you can only have 100 simultaneous viewers.
Oh.
And it had gotten popular enough within days that people were getting error messages and they couldn't load it. So people were getting mad at me that I had somehow gone in and specifically prevented them from accessing my guide.
It became so popular, you even exceeded Google at the time.
Yeah, well, 100 viewers.
It's not a ton, but
So
still.
I converted it to be a Google site, which is still free, but then it has unlimited viewership capabilities. It's just a standard website. Converted it to that, tried to make it look all pretty and whatnot, and posted it pretty much everywhere. And I got contacted by a woman that was in charge of a charity group that I was a part of, who said, hey, I'm with Limit, who at the time was the number 1 U.S. guild. They were number 5 in the world. Or, actually, at that point, they had just finished number 2 in Uldir. And she's like, we're looking at trying to expand and make more and more content, and we want to have stuff that we can publish in our own branding. We like the way that you do your guides. Would you be interested in working with us? And I'm just some random ass player from Bull Country, right? I've never been in a world top 100 guild. The best I've been was a world top 300 group.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm that crazy good at the game. And the number 2 group in the world, the number 1 in the U.S., is asking me to work with them. I'm like, yes, sure,
and
obviously.
This is all just because you organized information. It's that simple.
Yeah, and they liked the way that I explained stuff. They liked the way that I was able to take all the information, distill it down, and make it in a form that other people could easily understand and be able to continue to reference.
Yeah.
So I started working with them. We did written guides for Battle for Dazar'alor. We did some for Crucible of Storm, and then BlizzCon 2019, right before BlizzCon 2019, Limit announced that they were being signed by Complexity. Complexity is a professional organization that's owned that has a shared ownership group with the Dallas Cowboys.
And also Post Malone is a part owner, but I think that was later.
That was later.
Yeah,
that was later. So is Tim the Tatman now.
Oh, yeah.
And Ninja, actually.
Ninja's part owner.
Yeah, Ninja is the chief creative vision officer.
Oh, okay. That's a wild title.
But he does have an ownership stake in the company now. And actually, they're technically publicly traded.
Are they?
They are now. A couple of years ago, they got acquired by Game Square and a couple of steps
so
later.
they're like under something else.
Yeah, but they are now publicly traded.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, I went from just being some random dude making a Google Doc to I'm now signed as a content creator by an organization owned by Jerry Jones. Now, I grew up in coal country, Pennsylvania. I live in Eagles country. And I am now being
Cowboys.
told that I need to sign a contract with what's essentially a subsidiary of the Dallas Cowboys. There was a substantial period of time there where I had to sit there and like, dude, can I do this?
Am I like allowed? Am I going to be looked at differently?
Can I justify doing this? And the way I justified it to myself, this is going to sound really stupid, but every penny that Jerry Jones in effect eventually pays me is a penny he can't spend on the Cowboys.
You're taking away from their roster.
Yeah.
That's what.
All hundreds of dollars I'm being paid, they can't give to the Cowboys that are making tens of millions. It helps.
You made the Cowboys worse for at least a few years.
Yes. That's how I justified it. But it was awesome because we're now part of like a professional organization. I'm not one of the players, but I'm kind of attached to them. I'm making guides for them. I'm following them around.
Yeah.
And the next raid, they decided to produce a whole live event. And they had done one in London for Battle of Desaro, or for... What the hell raid was that? Eye of Ashara, or whatever that raid. I hated that place.
Yeah, I hated that place.
That raid was bad enough. I stopped playing the game for a while. I hated
it stopped
place.
You from playing the game.
Yeah,
you were signed at the time too, right?
Oh yeah, I wrote a guide for it.
And stopped playing.
Yeah, I hated that raid. I didn't want to play it, so I stopped playing. I still made all the guides. I just didn't want to play.
Yeah, respectable.
So they did an event for that one in London, came in second again. So that's 3 tiers in a row they'd come in second. Then they signed to Complexity, and they took all the players and made a whole casted event. I got to be a caster for that event, and they brought us all down to their facility outside of Dallas. The Complexity facility is on the Dallas Cowboys practice campus.
Oh, it's like in the same facility.
It's in one of the Dallas Cowboy buildings at their practice campus, overlooking their primary field practice facility.
So you could just like look over and they're just there.
There's like a 50-yard half field of turf just out in the open, literally across the street that we could see. So I'm being paid is essentially by Jerry Jones to talk about World of Warcraft.
Yeah, like that's like 5-6 years ago. You say that is the most bizarre thing on planet.
That was I don't know 3 years ago.
Yeah,
something like that. So because of dumb luck and me posting a stupid Google Doc to the right Discord, I ended up there, and I got to cast, and we won. Limit did win that race. That was their first ever world first. That was their first championship. So I got to cast that, and that was just incredible.
So this is like right after you had graduated college, too,
This
right?
is a few years later. I graduated in 2014. This was January of 2020.
Okay. Oh, January of 2020.
January of 2020. And I remember, I know exactly why I remember that, because we were sitting there, and they had like a table with computers and stuff for the casters to hang out and just chill. And we're sitting there playing WoW, and we're not on our shift, and we're looking at the news, and we keep seeing these news stories about this virus thing in China, and saying, this looks like it's really bad, it's really contagious, and like they're doing these lockdowns to try to contain it. I really hope that doesn't make it over here, because
wait for 3 more months.
Because America isn't going to do a lockdown very well. Have you met Americans? This isn't going to go well. You're not going to get people to listen to this, and then
2-3 months later, there we are.
It's like, oh, well, damn, knew that was going to happen.
Sitting in our homes, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. So I was with Complexity for, I guess, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then the team moved on and got signed by Liquid, which is a much larger organization.
Yeah, I mean, they're like one of the biggest in Europe.
U.S.
Are they U.S. based or are they Europe? I thought they were based in.
I think they're both. They have
both.
a headquarters in the Netherlands and a headquarters in L.A.
Yeah.
But they're one of the biggest orgs in the world.
Yes.
And
yeah, they're like one of the most recognizable names.
Yeah. So the team is now part of Liquid. I was with them for a year, and I got to go to Boston for one event with Liquid. We were at, I don't remember what the name of the facility was, but it was built into Gillette Stadium.
Oh, so you just work at every NFL stadium. That's what I
got to be there for 2 weeks and just hang out in an esports facility literally built into the side of Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
Just
another absurd experience.
Talk about WoW.
Like
someone's paying me to be here to talk about World of Warcraft. This is freaking cool.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to do some really cool things in video games from just
existing
dumb luck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I want to say I just worked the hardest and I got my way in there by grinding No, I just got really freaking lucky.
I think that's how esports is sometimes too. Like I've seen a lot of people, even professional players and stuff. So it was luck. I just happened to be in the right Twitch stream. I happened to play against the right guy, something like that. Like esports is so wild, and I kind of want to circle back to college and everything. So when you what was your major when you were here?
So my major was investment management.
Okay.
So if you go on Lebanon Valley College's website, you'll see that is not a major that's offered.
Yeah.
It was an individualized major, or as some people like to say, a fake major.
Yeah.
But basically, I started at LVC as an XI major.
Okay.
And I passed freshman year. I passed analysis 1 and 2. By the skin of my teeth,
but
I passed.
Yeah.
And that's really all that matters. And decided I do not want to be an actuary. And my father had an investment firm, so I went and interned with him and just absolutely fell in love with that job, with that world and what he does. So I came back and said, yep, so that XI thing is not working out for me. Yeah. I want to be an investment major or an investment management major or something. And so I walked over to the office of the chair of the business department at the time, which was Dr. Rudd, who you probably didn't get to meet.
Probably not.
He was awesome. And I told him that, and he was like, oh, well, you're at the wrong school then.
Oh, you got to go somewhere else.
To which I responded, well, that's probably true, but I'm not going anywhere. I like it here, so what can we do? And he let me know that there's an individualized major program. It has to be a joint venture between 2 different departments. So mine was a joint venture between the business department and the psych department. I took a ton of psych classes because my everyday job is dealing with people.
Yeah.
And helping people and having to talk to people through a lot of different situations.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a psych background lets you get a better understanding of where they're coming from.
Yeah, and how people work, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was my major, investment management.
Yeah. So how did you manage to balance, after graduation, of course, because obviously you're now a co-owner basically of Wagner Wealth Management. How do you balance that and what you're doing with World of Warcraft?
You just don't sleep.
It sounds like esports to me, honestly. That sounds esports to me.
That's not a good answer, but
it's the real answer though.
I'm 31. I have a fiance and a 4-year-old who's about to turn 5.
Yeah.
I own a house that I have to take care of, and my father and I run a business. There's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
So what, especially at this point, what typically happens is when it's time for me, the big thing I do now is casting. I make the how-to guides that get posted to YouTube.
Yeah.
So if there's 9 bosses, I make one for each boss on the second hardest and the hardest difficulty. So I end up making 18 videos in about a month time span.
That's a lot of content.
So it basically is, okay, I'm going to work all day, I'm going to come home, I'm going to eat dinner, and 2 nights a week I get to play WoW. 2 nights are my own team's raid nights. Mm-hmm. And basically every other night, I'm just making videos until I fall asleep.
That's
So there really isn't much of a balance for the month that we get into content, which conveniently is going to be like starting next week.
Oh, you said you're going to BlizzCon.
Yes.
That's just
very exciting.
Where is it at this year? Or is it
Anaheim Convention Center?
Do they always do it in Anaheim?
Yep.
I guess that's where Blizzard HQ is, correct?
Or Blizzard HQ is in Irvine, which is down the road.
Okay, so
it's like 20-ish, 30-ish minutes away, I think, from Anaheim. But the convention center is huge. It can fit like 40,000 people. And we haven't had an in-person BlizzCon since 2019.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
So I know, like, off camera, we were talking about it a little bit. Do you want to kind of talk about, like, your new org that you're now part of, now that you're not technically with Team Liquid?
Oh, it's not even technically.
It's not technically, yeah, it's just not.
I'm not with Liquid anymore.
I mean.
Yeah. So about a year ago, Liquid kind of decided they weren't going to do a full set of videos. They had one of their analysts make some heroic ones, but they didn't make any of the mythic ones. And I didn't find out until real late. I didn't find out till like 2 weeks before the content came out, so there was no chance for me to go to somewhere else. That hurt. That kind of sucked. So I took that raid off, that tier off. I didn't do anything for that 6 months. I just played. And then when the most recent set of content came out, I missed making videos. I've been making how-to guide videos for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I've got literally millions of views on videos that I've made and posted on behalf of organizations, and it's a lot of fun for me. Plus, if I have to go through all the research to make the video, it also means I'm going to know something about how the fights work, which then helps my own team. So I just sent a cold message to someone that I knew from Method and said, hey, I'm looking for an org to do videos with again. Do you want to do videos because you don't do videos? And they're like, oh, yeah, that'd be really cool.
That'd be good.
Then, like, 3 weeks later, we're all in agreement, and we came to a structure, and we're like, hell yeah, so I'm making videos on behalf of Method now. If you're in the WoW space, you know who Method is. If you're not, Method is the longest-running top 5 group in WoW. They've been a top 5 group since, like, 2004 and have consistently been excellent. They, I believe, are actually the guild and organization with the most total world first wins. They went through a not great patch a few years ago where there were some things that came out that was not good and almost crumbled the organization, but they have restructured and rebuilt. They kind of cleaned house and built back from the ground up. And today they're the number 3 guild in the world again. After having to start from literally not having any players and also not having any support staff or anything to run. So they've been able to get all the way back to being 3rd best guild in the world again. But the historic pedigree of them is they are one of the winningest guilds ever. So when I started with Limit, who then became Complexity and then became Liquid, their competition was Method. The team that kept beating them was Method. When I went to BlizzCon in 2018, the first BlizzCon I went to, the guild that I fangirled over and could barely speak because I ran into the entire group of their raiders and leadership was Method. And now, the guy I stood in line for to get his signature and autograph and a picture with is Sko, the CEO and owner and leader of Method.
And now
Sko pays me.
Yeah, you're right there with him.
Sko pays me now. I'm part of Method now. This is cool.
Yeah, it's wild. Like
if in the WoW world, Method has always kind of been there as one of the top groups and one of the top teams, and it just hits different to me to be a part of them than when I was with Limit or when they got signed by Complexity or Liquid, because I had kind of been with them for so long and grown with them and kind of watched their development as a team to get to where they are now. They are ranked number 1 right now. They won the last race. But signing with Method and, like, Sko pays me now.
It's like surreal.
I still have my picture from that BlizzCon that I waited in line literally a half hour to get a picture with Scum.
Just to get the picture and the signature.
And now he sends me contracts.
Yeah, like...
it's just... It's wild. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more thankful.
I mean, it's been great to just kind of even have you on with me, because, like, this to me is, like, the surreal experience right now. Like,
I'm just a random dude who likes talking about my favorite video game.
But, like, I see it differently.
Someone else likes that.
Yeah, yeah. But, like, I guess I'm at the lower level where I'm just the collegiate person and you're that professional that's here.
I'm not a professional. I don't know what the hell I'm
You're
doing.
on broadcast. That's professional to me.
We're guessing most of the time.
I mean, it still counts. You're the one that's on the desk.
What's really funny is the first raid that I agreed to do videos for. I pushed really hard with Complexity, saying I wanted videos done. And when they finally said yes, and I finally got them to agree to it, I came to the realization that I've never opened the video editing software.
Never.
I don't know how to even
use it.
Start, so I can't do it. Hey, Complexity, thank you for agreeing to do videos with me. Can you provide me a video editor, please?
Yeah.
And I had to work with Patrick, great guy. I love Pat. He was a fantastic editor, really, really good guy. He was very patient with me and dealt with me through all of this, and we made a couple of rounds of videos together. But over the course of about a year, I taught myself how to use Premiere, at least to the point that I could
you could just function
make
off of
something.
Yeah.
And so now I just do everything completely myself. I'm at the point that I can make all of our how-to guide videos myself. They're professional.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're good enough that people like them and people watch them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Right.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. I guess that's a good message to end off with.
You
I know.
do not need to be an expert to be successful. You need to be able to sell yourself as an expert to be successful.
All right. Well, on that note, we're gonna wrap it up here. Is there any channels, social media, whatever that you want to plug for yourself?
No.
I had a feeling, but I just wanted to ask to make sure.
No, I'm just some random dude. Don't follow me. I don't have anything to say. Follow Method, follow Liquid Guild, follow Echo, follow the top WoW teams. Give them a view. November 14th will be the next Race to World First event, so tune in on Twitch and just check them out and support the teams.
Is that on the Blizzard Twitch channel, or is that on Method?
It's on each individual team.
Oh, okay.
So Liquid will stream their own event, Echo will stream their own event, and Method will have their own event.
Okay.
It's the Race to World First has always been purely community driven. Blizzard does not have any involvement. They do not technically endorse the race in any way.
I feel like there's not much they can do there either. I don't know.
There's a...
Is there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I also don't know anything about this game, so me making assumptions isn't going to help much.
There's a ton that they could do to make the race better overall. Even without there being a financial aspect from Blizzard, content gets released on... So, in Warcraft, the entire servers for different parts of the world go down at specific times every week for maintenance.
Yeah.
So US servers go down Tuesday mornings for maintenance and usually come up Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Europe's go down late Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning.
So there's always like someone down.
So the big thing is when a new raid drops, new content comes out, it comes out at the conclusion of maintenance. So when a new raid comes out, the US gets it first,
and then
Europe gets it something like 12 or 14 hours later.
Okay.
So there's a time delay there.
Yeah.
Now, from a competitive standpoint, that sounds like a huge advantage, but usually there's 2 to 3 fights that are completely broken, and the teams are starting from scratch, making strategies as they go.
Yeah.
So if I get to start later, then I get to watch what the other team did for the first handful of bosses, and I don't have to try experimenting. I'll just do what they.
It's like an advantage, but in the other way, like the opposite way.
So it does kind of even out in the end, but it's something that's very hotly talked about and debated in the WoW community, and we would like it if it just released at the same time for everyone. It doesn't matter what.
I feel like that would just be easier on their part too, but maybe
it would. But like You build your nights that you play or your time frames that you play around when resets are.
Yeah.
So it would be a pretty big change if Blizzard just said, you know what, Europe is going to be Tuesday morning at the same time as US is now.
Yeah, because then they have to reschedule all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It screws all the different groups in Europe.
Yeah.
And same with like the Korean and Chinese regions or Taiwanese region have all their own different time frames. So there are things Blizzard could do to help the race be more successful, and they choose not to because there's a reason why we don't want them involved.
Yeah,
it's always meant to have been a community-driven event, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands of people tune in every race to watch people play WoW.
Just to watch them.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
so tune in.
Yeah,
November 14th, the next event starts.
Okay.
So 2 weeks after BlizzCon.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna wrap things up here for us tonight. Today, I guess, because it's
tonight. Dear God.
Yeah, it's 2 p.m. and I said tonight. Thank you for coming on, Kyle. I do really appreciate it.
Yeah,
this has been it's been a great experience for me, and I'm sure, I hope at least it's been good for you. Outside of the issues we had at the start of this, but
it's tech issues that happens in the IT departments.
Yeah, especially when I'm the one that's trying to set things up.
The thing I would like to say to leave with is kind of a message to all the kids that are at LVC that are interested in esports at all. There are literally thousands of jobs and roles available in the esports world. Whether you are a good enough player to make it pro or not, if you want to make a living in esports, it's doable. Go find a skill, whether it's video editing or sales and marketing to get sponsorships for stuff, production, coaching. Even there's coaches in every professional game. There's coaches in Warcraft. There are so many different roles that organizations and teams need. You can be involved in esports if you want to, if you have a passion for it. Go look into it, talk to different people and organizations, find out as much as you can, and get yourself a skill that you can make marketable to the teams. It's a great place to be. Yeah. Esports is a blast.
That's a fantastic way to put it. I'm glad you said that, honestly. That was a really good message, and I think that's a great way to end it. So if you don't follow us already, subscribe to us on YouTube, where this, I'm assuming, will be going. I don't know where else it would really be going.
Wait, I don't want to be seen on the internet.
I mean, you put yourself on broadcast.
I don't want to be seen on the internet.
That's a bit unfortunate.
Damn.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LVC_esports on both those platforms. And follow us on Twitch to see all of our matches and all of that sort of stuff go down. Twitch.tv/Laughing Valley College. I wish we could change that name. But that's a different story for a different day. That's going to do it. We'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
See ya.